Welcome to the Irresistible You podcast. This is the place to get a dose of empowerment to create the life you crave and deserve. I'm your host, Amy Beltran, CEO and founder of Irresistible University. Through the podcast and my signature coaching program, I teach women just like you how to ditch the body image issues, gain confidence, and lose the emotional weight to look and feel irresistible at any size. If you like the podcast, you're going to love my online group coaching program. If you want to learn more about it, including the cost, what's included, get client testimonials, and to sign up and enroll, please head over to irresistibleicing.com/course. The link is also in the show notes. All right, guys, we are diving into episode 158 today, and we are talking about the topic of boredom. Is it okay to be bored? Now, I think you're going to be surprised that when I talk about boredom, you're probably not thinking of it in the way that I'm going to describe it. So, I am not talking about boredom in the sense of true actual boredom, okay? What I am talking about is when you are going along in your life, you're working on yourself, you're working on your irresistible you journey, you're doing your self-development, you're working on your goals, you're working on losing your weight, you're working out, you're eating clean, you're working on your mental, emotional health, and you're just, you're doing all the irresistible you stuff. You're like just doing you and going through and living life and working on the inner fat bitch, changing your thoughts, changing the way you think and feel about things, and up leveling yourself. And all of a sudden, all of these things that used to feel really hard, that used to feel really difficult, that used to feel like I'm never going to get this, all of a sudden these things start to become second nature. They just start to become who you are now. Right? The things that you talked about, that you envisioned when you created the future that you wanted to design for yourself and who you wanted to become, as you start to move into that cycle and you start to become those things and become that person, you're going, oh shit, this doesn't feel right. There's something wrong. How come there is nothing wrong? That's the feeling I want to talk about, where you're just thinking, wow, like everything's going along smoothly. I'm like, there's really no drama right now. There's no stress. I mean, we all going to have stress, but I'm talking about there's no major issues. And you're just sitting there waiting for the other foot to drop. You know what I'm saying? You're just waiting for the other foot to drop, going, well, shit always hits the fan. Things never work out for me. I know something's bound to happen. Something is about to happen up in here because everything just seems to be going along smoothly. I want you to take notice of that. I want you to really, really notice when those thoughts are coming in, because this is when you are prone to throwing yourself into self-sabotage. You are so used to chaos, stress, problems, distractions, the weight is a distraction, the inner fat bitch chatter is a distraction, the busyness is a distraction. And when you start to strip all those things down and you start to live a more irresistible, healthier life all around, you're going to have these moments where you're going to try to self-sabotage the success. Because this is so foreign to you. It's so new. And it's like, oh my God, when is everything going to hit the fan? And then you start looking for problems. You start creating fights with people that you're close to. You start looking for drama when there is no drama or problems that need to be dug up. That is self-sabotage. And so when I'm saying the word boredom here, I don't mean it in the literal, actual sense of like when you're bored and I'm talking about when things are just starting to fall into place, all of a sudden you're going to think you're bored. It's going to be boredom like in disguise. And then that's going to cause you to self-sabotage if you are not tuned in and if you are not listening to the inner voice. You do not want to self-sabotage yourself. You do not want to go backwards. You do not want to find problems that don't exist. How many times have you done this in the past, like when you've been on a weight loss journey or a diet and you start to see success, you start to see the scale going down, and what do? You find ways to completely sabotage yourself. And we got to get underneath the why. So when these moments are happening, when you think that you're feeling bored, you think that everything is actually, wow, everything's just kind of status quo, everything's kind of going good for me. Let's get underneath why. What are the thoughts that you're having? What are the feelings that you're truly feeling? Because it's not boredom. It's probably uneasiness. It's probably anxiety. It is probably you trying to spin and recreate old patterns. And we have to get underneath of that in order to be able to fix it so that we don't continue to self-sabotage all of the success that we want in our lives. Because if you self-sabotage, what's going to happen? You're going to go right back to where you started from. And we don't want that. We do not want to go down that route. So one of the things that you're going to really have to learn how to do as you start to go on this journey, the Irresistible You journey, you have to learn how to just be still. And for so many of you, I understand it. I get it. It's uncomfortable. It is so uncomfortable for you to sit alone in a room with yourself and your own thoughts. But that is what you have to learn how to do. Because if you cannot be with yourself, by yourself, listening to yourself, there is no way for you to experience growth and change if you can't hear the inner voice. And so many of you are so terrified to sit still and to not be busy and to hear that inner voice because you're afraid of what's going to come up. And that fear of what's going to come up is the exact same thing that is keeping you stuck and chained to where you are, where you don't want to be. So in those moments where you start to feel, oh my God, I'm bored, something's going on, I need to stir some shit up, right? We need to stop, we need to think, and we need to listen. What am I really trying to do here? What is my body, what is my mind really trying to tell me in this moment? Why is this so uncomfortable right now? Why am I so afraid that everything's going to hit the fan? Why am I so afraid that happiness and success can be taken away from me in a heartbeat? Why is that? And these are the types of questions that you need to sit in the room alone, get your notebook out, get your pen out. Don't do this inside your own head. Write it down. Even if maybe it's not writing it down, maybe it's doing a voice note on your phone and saying, hey, why do I feel so anxious right now? And then allow yourself to just talk. Don't censor yourself. Don't edit yourself. Don't excuse yourself and say, I'm sorry. And just let it all come out, even if it doesn't make sense yet. You will make sense of it eventually. I am telling you, it is okay to feel, quote unquote, bored. It is okay to feel like something should be going on right now, right? That's a normal feeling. When you're so used to chaos and self-destructing, self-sabotaging, and drama, when you are so accustomed to that, when things start to get quiet and you start to get shit figured out and you start to get things going on the right path, it's gonna be normal to feel like something's about to happen. I'm not allowed to feel happy. You are allowed to feel happy. You are allowed to have success. And having success in the things that you've set as goals, feeling joy, feeling happiness, it's not like for every moment that you feel happy, something bad needs to happen to you. That is not a thing. That is something that you have created in your own head. And so maybe there's some rules there that you need to dig into that you created around what happiness means, what success means, what, disconnecting yourself from toxic people means. If you've gone through this path and this journey and you've done your housekeeping and you've cut out toxic people, toxic situations, toxic relationships, that could be with other people, it could be with food, it could be with yourself. You're so used to that toxicity that when it's gone, It is going to be an adjustment, but it's a good adjustment. And in order for that adjustment to have long lasting results, then we have to ask ourselves these questions when we start to feel awkward, anxious, bored. So really dig in there and figure out, what is truly causing this feeling for me? Why do I feel uneasy because things are going in the right direction for me? Why do I feel uncomfortable because there's no drama right now? And that's how you continue to push through. You continue to grow. You continue to become irresistible you. That's how you do it. So I'm going to wrap this episode up. It's a short and sweet one, guys. We can continue the conversation over in the free Facebook group. Type in Irresistible You Podcast. Look under the groups tab. You will find it. Request to join. Please answer the questions that are there. And you can also hit me up over on Instagram at Irresistible Icing, where we can continue talking there as well. And also, if you have any questions, you can DM me on Instagram. Thank you guys so much for listening. I will catch you in the next episode. Until then, stay irresistible. Bye.